What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D, Mr. Double Down on You with another episode of Black Fathers Now. Now, look, man, I got a brother who's got a dope story, man. He's coming with some good stuff, man. He's moved into different segments of life. He's transitioned into different things, but he's doing some amazing stuff now, and he's really walking in his purpose, walking in his calling. And he's also a homeboy. He's from Augusta, Georgia, specifically Westside High School in Augusta, Georgia. And I have my man, Jermaine Salisbury. Now, the brother's a father. He's a fitness professional. He's a veteran. He's an entrepreneur. He's the creator of a personal security company. But then he also has started telling his story on YouTube in a channel that he titled Vet to Bodyguard, or From Vet to Bodyguard. So fellas and ladies listening to, because y'all like to tune in to what we're talking about, let's welcome my man, Jermaine Salisbury. What's up, brother?
Thank you, brother. Nice to have you. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well, man. Doing
awesome.
well.
That's
Taking
awesome.
it one moment at a time.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's all we can do.
We froze up. We froze up for a second.
You good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay, cool.
It might be mine, because I'm gonna tell you, man, I've had a few of these interviews, man. The internet been slow on a brother. I think they're trying to keep me from being great, but they can't keep a brother down. Come on.
Yes, sir.
They can't do it, man. But we're happy to have you, brother, man. We happy to have you come and share your story, your journey, and what you got going on. But before we jump into what you got going on, let's get some shout outs, man. I like the brothers to always give a shout out to their village, the wind beneath their wings. Who are those folks that have helped them get to where they are, but then also who are continuously helping them to continuously be the best version of yourself? So talk to us a little bit about your village, man.
First and foremost, my mom, she was a real strong woman. She passed away a few years ago. So she really kind of molded me into those core values growing up, respect for elders and having respect for other people, things like that. My wife, she's an awesome person. She takes care of the kids while I'm gone. I know it's a challenge for her as well, because daddy's not there to do the hard things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And my boy Chris Cole, man, he really seen the light in me from a long time ago. You know what I mean? He just gave me an opportunity to kind of get out there and put me in a position to where I can share my gift with everybody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it, man. Like I'm a really kind of closed off kind of guy, in a sense. I don't deal with a lot of people. I lost both my parents, so I lost my dad in high school, my mom a few years ago. So just me and my siblings. So I just try to use those things I learned along the way, growing up, and just apply in everyday life.
And it's interesting, man. I'm glad you shared that part of your story, because we all have different dynamics. You know what I'm saying? There are some people who are fortunate and blessed to have parents well into, you're 50, 60 years old and people still got parents, both parents still alive. But then there are some people who grow up in situations in which they lose their parents early. And it hit me hard because I have a first cousin who, and she is 2 years older than me. And 3 years ago, she lost her father, and she lost her mother, a few years back. And this was around the time that we also lost our grandmother. And so she looked at me one day and she said, Mike, and this is at the time, I think she was 40 or 41. She said, Mike, I am in essence the elder in my family now. And I'm only 40 or 41 years old.
Yeah.
It was deep. Like I had never thought about it from that standpoint of you are the elder. Like she has a kid and at the time just had a grandkid and all of that stuff. And she was like, I am the elder. And so to your point, your story connects with a lot more people than you think.
Absolutely. Being the elder of the family, that didn't hit me till maybe a few years ago, because losing my mom was hard. Because I was overseas deployed, came back home, and she was already in that last phase of cancer. And it was hard. But recently now, with these opportunities, I'm kind of building my family back together. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So being that bridge between like lost cousins I hadn't seen in a while, my sisters, my brothers or whatever. So kind of bringing everybody back together. It's a cool thing. It's a very cool thing.
That's cool. And the thing is though, and I appreciate you stepping into that role. And again, as we were about to jump into your journey, everything in your life happens for a reason, right? Again,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
some things are uncomfortable and challenging, some things are awesome, but the way that I explain it when I do speaking engagements is, we are all a 500-piece jigsaw puzzle, right?
Absolutely.
And we all got 500 pieces with jagged edges, some smooth edges, all of that. But the thing about a jigsaw puzzle is the puzzle's incomplete without all of those pieces, but you cannot define the puzzle by any one piece. You see, so it's that balance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like you need the good, the bad, the ugly, but I'm not defined by only that good piece. I'm also not defined by only that bad piece, but they're all pieces of me.
That's a fact. That's a fact, brother. Yes, sir. Absolutely. It was hard. That's Chris loud now. But
That's
but as far as my journey goes, man, honestly, I was a young knucklehead in Augusta. I actually moved from West Side to Hepzibah. I think my sophomore year, and wasn't doing anything. Worked a few jobs. Wasn't really happy with that. I just joined the military. I think by far that was one of the best choices of my life because it gave me structure and discipline, and I needed that.
So hold on, hold on. The thing again, my internet froze up a second. You said you moved from West Side to Hepzibah, which are two high schools in Augusta, and then after that, it blurred out on us.
Yeah, so I mean, I got to Hepzibah, like I said, same thing. I wasn't knucklehead getting in trouble. I needed that structure and discipline, so that's why I joined the military. And it was by far the best decision I ever made in my life. Because
joining the military?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that discipline, first of all, that structure, being able to travel, meeting a lot of people, and the world is bigger than Augusta. I had to learn that the hard way. You know what I mean? So it was awesome. It was awesome.
And so the military thing, so was it something that, did you have like folks in your family that were military? Is it something you always considered? Or was it like that aha moment, the recruiter came to the high school that day and was like, you can make this amount of money and get full benefits if you sign up now? What was that thing that got you into the military, man?
Well, actually, my dad was in the Navy. He played football in the Navy. My stepdad at the time, he was an Army reservist.
Okay.
He was kind of pushed me in that direction, being young. You like, no, I don't want to go in the Army. I ain't trying to hear that. And the more he talked about it, it made sense to me. It's something new. I needed it, and I just ran with it. You know what I mean? And it was, like I said, one of the best choices I made in my life because I won't be here right now if I didn't. You know what I mean?
Now, how long did you spend in the military?
I was in for almost 10 years.
Wow. Thank you for your service, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Deploying, that was a whole nother story in itself because, like I said, on my YouTube series, you have to change your whole mindset. Another country, you're not in the States anymore. You're not in Augusta. You're not in Georgia anymore. It's totally different. The physical comes into play. The mental comes into play. Taking care of your body, hydrating every day, like the small things. You know what I mean? It was hard. It was hard because that's, like I said, it was new.
Now, I got a question. So again, I'm not military. Like my grandfather that was former military, that retired, command sergeant major, 30 years, 2 Purple Hearts, all that. He did all of that. And then we have other relatives that have spent time in the military.
Right.
But on the flip side, my wife and I, we've done a lot of travel. Like we've traveled to different countries and, seen different parts of the world. But we've also always gone as like a tourist. We've always gone on vacation.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about getting your mindset shifted and kind of getting yourself ready to go to different places. What's the difference going in a military capacity versus going as like a tourist or whatnot?
Tourist. Oh, because as a tourist, you're not really concerned about the violence of the country or stuff, or things like that. You're here to kind of enjoy the sights, trying to get away. You're in the control area, maybe resorts or whatever, so you don't see the actual city behind the scenes. Military is totally different because you have to literally watch people, actions, vehicles, body movements, like scene scenarios, like all that stuff comes into play when you're in the military in another country. So yeah.
That's interesting. Because I think like for some of us who are not military, we think about it and, and I guess sometimes people romanticize it, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna join the military so I can see the world," you know, but you're not seeing the world from the standpoint of vacation per se. I
Right,
mean, you might
right.
have a little bit of that. You're seeing the
Yeah,
world
a
and you
little bit.
on
Yeah,
duty.
yeah. So I mean, different branches like the Navy, the Air Force. Now those guys travel. They go to different countries. They port for like a week or two,
Mm,
enjoy the country, and they back on their submarine or their boat or whatever.
mm,
Army is different. Like we have it's a controlled environment. We're on a camp, and we're on that camp the entire year. We don't get to go out and see, you know, parts of the city or whatever. We have
mm,
a certain mission for a whole year. That's our
mm,
mission until we get ready to go. So it's totally different as far as the branches go.
mm.
Yeah.
Have you done a lot of like international travel since then, just on a personal level?
Oh yeah. Actually, after my service, I did contract work overseas
Mhm,
as a civilian.
mhm,
I mean, that was cool too. Been to Dubai, Amsterdam,
mhm,
Thailand. So that was pretty cool.
mhm.
Yeah,
Interesting, interesting.
yeah,
So again,
yeah.
and like we mentioned, these are all experiences which help to shape who you are
Mhm.
and you know what who you've become and all of that. And
Absolutely.
then you know you kind of fast forward, and then after that, if anybody has like followed you on social and all of that, you know, like the bodybuilding and
Yeah, yeah,
competitions and you
yeah.
know, talk to us a little bit about transitioning, you know, kind of into that in the fitness space, but
Right.
then kind of the aha moment which led to where you are now doing private personal security and traveling the world doing that.
So the fitness aspect happened while my first deployment because I couldn't go home. I was missing family, and
Mm-hmm.
I needed an outlet. I needed something to kind of release all that stress and
Mm-hmm.
emotion. And I just got into it. I just never stopped.
Mm,
Um, and it made the time go by faster. I felt better about my body. My mind was more sharp because I was always active,
mm,
and I kind of just ran with it. And in the beginning, it was more just putting up numbers. I'm just trying to get big.
mm-hmm.
And then maybe a few years ago, actually, I got into the actual nutrition part of it, this symmetry, building muscle,
Mm-hmm.
burning body fat, all that good stuff. So, and I just got into it. It's never stopped.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
again, we talk about how we all grow and evolve. You know, you
Hmm.
mentioned we mentioned we have different experiences, and just to pass time, it was like, yo, I'm gonna hit the gym. I'm just gonna be that swole joker walking around.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look as good. And I when
Yeah.
you and I text at times, I always revert back. I always remember that quote that you put when you met CT Fletcher at a signing or something,
Yeah.
and
In
he said,
Texas. Yeah.
yeah, and he was just like, you look like one of them old concrete breaking mother.
Yeah, those sidewalk cracking jokers. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. I was in it hard, man. Like I loved it. And then it kind of people seeing me do that,
Mhm,
they want to train with me. Like, man, let
mhm.
me train with you. Let me and that's how I got to the actual personal training space. And
Okay.
it's I still do it to this day. So um as far as the security goes, after I got out, I did a lot of bodyguard work. Was actually security like bouncer work in
Yeah.
Texas. A lot of clubs, Tony Romo, the Dallas Cowboys, stuff
Mhm,
like that. And it was pretty cool.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
it was pretty
And
cool.
so that then kind of just opened you up to, and was that kind of combining some of your military experience with all of a sudden being some big sidewalk cracking mofo, you
it,
know what I'm
it it no,
saying?
it definitely helps because of the command presence. People see a big guy
Mhm,
dressed like that, they don't want no problems at all. They just see
mhm,
somebody that command presence goes a long way.
mhm.
Um, Now security and bodyguard is kind of two different spaces because with
Yes.
security, you kind of just maybe crowd control, you checking IDs,
Mhm,
making sure people don't tear up the establishment.
mhm,
Bodyguard work is more person specific. Like I'm geared towards one person.
mhm,
I'm not engaging anybody else. His safety is my primary concern. That's
mhm.
it. So it's a total different space.
Man, it's interesting you say that. I'm glad you kind of broke down the difference between security and bodyguard because
Right.
I had when I was doing pharmaceutical sales years ago, and a frat brother of mine was actually the head of security for the pharmaceutical company that I worked for. His
Right.
primary responsibility was the North American CEO, right?
Mm.
And but before that, he was prior military and all of that. But the funny thing was, you know, I'm like 5'7" ish. That's what I claim. He was the dude was like my size. Like he was no bigger than I was. I was just
Yeah.
like, you don't look like security
Right.
bodyguard or whatever. And
Right.
then he was like, but dude, I'm so much more dangerous than that big left tackle that used to play in the SEC. And he said, let me tell you why. Because he's done personal work for like dignitaries and presidents and all kind of stuff. And one of the things he said was, he was just like, think about this. Like when you go to an event, like I know what side of the car the person should get off on. We're scanning the area. We're looking at the rooftops and making sure that this is done and this is secured. You know, I mean, he was going into all these different components aside from just being some big joker that used to play football.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I tell guys this all the time. Size does not matter at all. It's the skill set. It doesn't matter at all. And the truth be told, it's about customer service, taking care of your client and all those things. So, you know, the higher that person's status is, you will go into that type of spectrum. Like as far as like advances, checking spots out, making sure the area is secure, cameras and all that good stuff, because that person has a higher status. So, I mean, yeah, but size doesn't matter at all, man. Like you can be the biggest guy in the room and still get taken out in a heartbeat. Like seriously, I've seen it before. Yeah, so that doesn't skill set, customer service for the bodyguard spectrum. So absolutely,
skill set, customer service, and think about that. And it's interesting, skill set and customer service, because you know, Black Fathers Now, we think about life and we think about things that can be applied to life. You know, as a dad, as a husband, as a father, you know, as a man in general.
Absolutely.
Skill set and what'd you say? You said skill set and
customer service.
Customer service. So when you start thinking about it from that particular perspective, everything kind of revolves around skill set and customer service. Like, what are you capable of? Your skill set. How do you treat people? Your customer service.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, people see the big guy and you think, well, that's all the job is. You're supposed to just stand there and just look big and just intimidate people. Like, no, like I tell my guys to find work. You know, go clean something up, see if somebody need anything, you know, interact, meet people. And those soft skills will get you a long way than the hard skills.
Ooh, interesting. Now, and so to that point, did you go through any type of training yourself to become a, you know, literally like to understand the soft skills associated with in customer service, with, you know, doing personal bodyguard work? Or was this something that literally just life experience and everything that you've gained along the way, you just package it together and then put it into practice?
It's a little bit of both. Actually, I went to bodyguard school in Simi Valley, California last year. Okay. It's about a two month course. Okay. And it taught me how to correlate the military side to the bodyguard side. Still keeping those same things in play, being proactive, being focused, watching people, but kind of bringing it down to where you can see things and not react. Take note, see the situation, read the room, and just relax. You don't have to go to 10 all the time. And combined with what my mom told me, respect. The average person just wants respect. If a person comes with a problem, they just want to be respected. And that alleviates half the problem. So, yeah.
Respect alleviates half the problem. You know, again, I mean, this is why, you know, with your story and what you're doing and, you know, your YouTube channel that you're getting up and running right now, you know, from vet to bodyguard, I think you really dropping gems and nuggets like that are so important because, you know, I think back in the day, it was a book or something. They said everything important I learned in kindergarten. Right. And when you think about like the golden rule and how you treat people and sharing.
Absolutely.
And what you just said there, it's just like, honestly, if you start with respect, you know what I'm saying?
It kills a lot. I've done it. Like I've been in situations in clubs, alcohol's in the mix, egos are in the mix. And you know, you just want to be that guy in the club. If I just stop and say, man, just chill out for a minute, be good, and give him that respect he was looking for, he's calmed in it. He's forgetting why he was mad in the first place. Leaves a whole lot of problems.
Dude, it's de-escalation, dude. I heard who was it? It's a guy. Oh, he's the dude that has Black Guns Matter, Maj Toure. So it's this dude, he was doing an interview and he was just saying that because I have basically a weapon of mass destruction on my hip, I must be a agent for de-escalation. He was like, I'm always the one that's trying to de-escalate problems, trying to de-escalate stuff, because he said, I know I got something deadly on my hip, so I can't go there. So I'm doing everything in my mind to avoid any type of confrontation. And a lot of times it just starts with simply respecting. And if that other person can't respect, look, I can eat it and say like, man, hey dude, hey dog, you got it, bro. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely. And the thing about with the gun, that's an absolute last resort for me.
Yes.
Because people automatically see gun, they get either intimidated or they think somebody's going to shoot something.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like I said, de-escalation that alleviates all of the problems. If I have to go to the gun, then I will. But I don't. You don't have to. Not at all. So,
and I think that's such an interesting perspective. There's another brother that I connect with on Instagram. He goes by Coach Glue, and he's like a specialist and all that kind of stuff. He does all this tactical training, and he posted something, and he said something like, having a gun doesn't mean that you can't still catch a fade, right? Yeah. It's just like, but again, that de-escalation, but then understanding the levels. And again, in security, we automatically think that just because somebody is armed, that they just go in there.
That guy. Like, no, trust me, because we actually did some training in that aspect as well, just to see the reaction time. A person has a handgun, X amount of steps, and I'm running at you full speed. You have to actually get to it and draw it under stress. It's different under stress. People say, "Oh, I can just pull it." Okay, it's different when emotions are involved, stress is involved. Full speed at you, yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. Yeah.
But I think that's so important because again, we can apply this to life outside of the realm of security as well.
Absolutely,
we think about the concept of respect on the front end, but then de-escalate. How do you de-escalate a problem and not just take it 100% to the 10?
Well, I give the person the opportunity to calm down.
That's right.
Let's talk about it. What's the problem? What's the issue? And they still don't want to calm down. Then now I have to go there. I gave you opportunity to calm down and kind of like chill out for a second and think about what's going on. Because first of all, alcohol is in the mix. Your ego is in the mix. So let's just take it down for a second. And if it has to happen that way, then I have to do it. But I have never had a problem. I maybe once or twice, but nothing serious. But just like I said, that respect goes along. I shake his hand, talk to him. Or if I see a guy that's getting ready to do something in the situation, I go speak to him. It just throws their whole mind off.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that again, going back to your history, that's that proactive approach.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like I think back to the was it Beverly Hills Cop when Eddie Murphy character, they were sitting at the club, and he noticed the dudes with the trench coats in the middle of July, and he went and engaged them. He was just like, I ain't waiting on nothing to pop off.
Right.
We finna go position myself because I see something about to pop off, and I'm going to engage this thing.
I preach that too to my guys as well. You want to be more proactive than reactive, because if you react, now stress is involved, emotions involved. Everybody's a panic now. Proactive, if you see before it happens, that alleviates everything else. It cuts the problem in half. So proactive versus reactive. So, and that stuff like being in your phones. I don't let my guys in their phones at all. Like put your phones up and constantly have your head on the swivel. Because if you don't see something, it takes a split second. You can look down on your phone and whatever, and something happens. You don't know what's going on. So proactive versus reactive.
Proactive versus reactive. And the thing is, I think this is interesting because again, as fathers, as husbands, how are you taking some of these lessons and applying them again as a dad and as a husband, that proactive versus reactive? Like, how are you kind of infusing that into to your kids, man?
Well, tell them to always respect people until they disrespect you. It goes back to that, like you said, that golden rule. I try to tell them to be aware of what you're doing and where you at. Don't be so involved in that phone and looking around, kind of like look around and notice people, like see things that look out of place. Be kind of, aware of your surroundings, because kids are getting snatched up, people are getting all these shoes and all that good stuff. So I just try to tell them to respect people. It goes a long way. It goes a very long way.
Respect and self-awareness. I mean, those to me are two key components that Jermaine dropped that I think could really go a long way. Respect other people, but then also have self-awareness. You dropped something and you glossed over it, but you said when something looks out of place. See, that's that self-awareness piece. You're just like, okay,
situational awareness. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, of like prime example, I do this on a regular basis. I do this all the time. I'll go to like a Walmart or to like a mall or a store, and I'll just sit back and just watch people. Just watch the way people move and
Mhm.
and how they engage and what they got going on. Like a person can actually pull out a weapon and start firing, nobody would know because
Mhm.
everybody's so they doing this
Mhm.
or they're in a conversation on their phone or they having another conversation instead of let me see what's going on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's an exercise I do all the time. Do it
Mm.
all the time. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's something for us to pay attention to, just to get a
absolutely.
gauge. Yeah, to get a gauge of your surroundings. Just put your phone down and just scan around. Just like pay
Hmm.
attention, people watch, and
Hmm.
it'll surprise you. I'm gonna tell you what I like to do, like in the car, especially when I'm riding or somebody else is driving. I love to look in the car at people as I pass.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude,
Me too.
dude,
Yeah.
when you and my wife gets home and she was just like, why are you staring at everybody that passes? It's just, I mean, it's fascinating because I love people. Like I'm a people watcher. Like the
Yeah.
best places in the world are like airports because you can sit down and you just literally, it's just all
Yeah.
kind of good people watching.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the
Absolutely,
thing
man.
is, you learn so much, like, and it'll sometimes it'll scare you because you see people like on their phone eating plates of food. Some of them be turning back some liquor while they driving. I mean, you see all kind of stuff going
Yeah.
on, and you're just like, man, I never realized how much crap is going on around me
Around
because
me.
I'm so enthralled in my
Engulfed.
phone.
Hmm. Absolutely, man. That alleviates a lot of things. Um, I try to tell my kids to not to be in that phone all the time anyway. Like kind of read books and stimulate your mind. You get your time when you get it, but
Mm-hmm.
have that time to learn something every day. Be better than what you was yesterday.
Mm,
So um and try to steal those values in them every day. I
mm.
try to. Yeah.
No, you do, man. You're doing a good job, and you're doing a good. Let me tell you what. Like I've been paying attention to you for a while, man, and I've been watching how
I
you've
appreciate
evolved
that.
and you've grown, and you're very intentional, right? And it's
Yeah.
been this intentional journey of I'm looking for that thing that is really my thing so that I
Hmm.
can fully walk in my purpose. Like what is
Absolutely.
combining all of this? Like you mentioned, you realized not long ago, kind of like being the elder and bringing folks together now,
Hmm.
right? It's
Absolutely.
like that
Absolutely.
thing is coming together. These skills that you have acquired over the years, that thing coming together. And now you've created Silverback Security, which is
Yeah.
that thing
Yeah.
that you're doing.
And man, it was hard because
Mhm,
getting out of the military, like I said, I didn't go to school, I
mhm,
didn't go to any colleges, I didn't have any of those skill sets. What I had was military mind, military tactics. I know how to shoot guns and
mhm,
read people out, but now that I'm out, how can I utilize this stuff to benefit me or get it out to help people?
mhm.
Got into the like I said to the security world. Um, that was cool for a minute, but at the same time, I was still missing something. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Doing the fitness, that was cool too. Um, and really just, I'm gonna tell you a crazy story how I got into the bodyguard spectrum. So I was working this job in Arizona. Long story short, easy job, easy money, and had an epiphany. I said, man, look here, I'm better than this. I have too much skills to sit behind a computer all day and not utilize what I have. I put in my 2 week notice. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have the job set up. I didn't have none of that stuff set up. I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna do it. The very next day, Chris texts me, "You ready to work?" I say,
wow.
"Yeah,"
Wow.
and it's been on ever since then.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hold up.
yeah,
So
it's
I'm gonna
crazy.
tell you, see, dude, I'm gonna tell you this thing, and I referenced it on numerous interviews. There's one of my favorite books of all time. It's called The Alchemist. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with The Alchemist?
no, I'm not.
Okay, well, after you hear this, it's gonna make you want to pursue it as we talk about reading and everything.
Absolutely.
The Alchemist, the whole core of The Alchemist is, or the premise of it is, as you start to pursue your personal legend, the
Hmm.
universe conspires to help you along on your journey.
Mm.
So the Alchemist is about this shepherd boy who goes through all these different trials and tribulations. But one of the things that happens is each time he goes through something, he realizes that as he goes through, there's something there to help usher him along to the next stage,
Mm.
right, on his journey. And I'm not going to
Yeah,
give you everything because it's a good book that I
that's
think
fine. I'm gonna
everybody
write
should
that
read.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
The
called The
Alchemist.
Alchemist.
Yes,
But
sir.
but what I'm saying is the moment that you made that commitment to say, you know what, I'm better than this. I got something else that I need to be doing. I know I'm bigger than this. I know this is not what I'm called to do. And
Hmm.
I'm committed to you put that 2 week notice in, and you
Yeah,
said the next day, your man texted you and said, "Hey, are you ready to work?"
The very matter of fact, the very next morning, I got off. I worked 12-hour shift from 6:30 to 6:30 the next morning. It was around about 7. I was going to train after I get off work, and he texted me, "Hey man, you ready to work full time?" I said, "Yeah." And I was in LA the very same weekend in LA working, and
Wow.
it was on ever since then.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
And just the Chris that he's talking about Chris Cole, which actually was a couple of episodes back on Black Fathers Now, his story or whatever, with the BWO and all of that. That's who Jermaine is talking about. So if
yes
you want to hear
sir.
more about the Chris,
BWO
yep.
all day.
If
Yes
you're watching the
sir.
video, he's rocking BWO
Yeah,
shirt. Dig
BWO
it,
all
dig it.
day. Yes sir. Yes
Yeah,
sir.
Black World Order, Bridging
Yes
Wealth
sir.
Opportunities.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so you're doing security with BWO now.
I'm actually Chris's personal bodyguard, personal protection.
Okay.
So, and he's putting me in a position to where I can scale my skill set to everyone else as far as teaching situational awareness classes, giving basic handgun training, basic self-defense, a number of things we put together right now. And it's just, like I said, if I wouldn't step out on faith that one day, I wouldn't be here right now.
Again, listen to the concept behind the alchemist as you start to pursue, meaning you got to take the steps. Once you start stepping, then all of a sudden it says the universe conspires. My belief is the creator of the universe.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
But you got to start taking those steps. And fellas, I want y'all to pay attention to what Jermaine just said there. He was doing all right, but he just knew there was something more. He knew there was something more, and that thing was eating at him to the point which he was just like, I got to go.
Yeah, and it was a lot of stress, man. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, and my wife used to argue all the time. I'm walking around the house mad, pissed off, unfulfilled, just a number of things. And I just sat there like, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, you know what? This is not it. This can't be it. And it just happened. And I'm just extremely blessed right now, man. I can't even describe it.
Dude.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. And at that time I was doing my fitness thing. I had clients I was training, maybe 2 or 3 clients I was training on the personal training aspect of it or whatever. And it was tugging. Like, it was like, okay, I'm doing the personal training, but my passion is kind of taking over now. I love training and I love security. Those are my things, fitness and security. And it was kind of like hand in hand. And now the security aspect is kind of taking off. So now I'm trying to figure out how I can scale the fitness aspect into the security.
I want you to think about this. So it's interesting. As you were talking before that, you said that, you and Chris connected and you're his personal security, but then he's also opened up some windows for you to do some different training. Okay. He's opened up some windows for you to do some different training.
Yeah.
Say the word again.
Training.
Open up some windows for you to do some different training. So when you walked away from the other job, you were doing training. Your passion was in security, but you really enjoyed training too. Fast forward now, you're doing personal security, and now you're creating platforms to do some training. Interesting how these two things really never left.
Yeah.
That's the core of who you are.
Absolutely.
Security and training is who you are. And as you start walking in your personal legend, what ends up happening is these opportunities now start to create themselves where you have the opportunity to now put these two things together.
Absolutely.
Do security and training. Now, beforehand, training was purely just physical training, right?
Right.
But I'm going to tell you what's interesting. A lot of times we romanticize how something happens versus taking a step back and realizing what's important is us actually doing it, right?
Absolutely.
So training is the thing, whether it's personal training, firearms training, security training, manhood training, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
It's just training. Don't romanticize just the personal training side of it. That's just one component.
Absolutely.
You're still able to do training. It just might not be personal training all the time. But guess what? You're still going to be doing training.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you said it, because part of my training is, putting guys through actual stress. A lot of persons say they can pull a handgun, or whatever the case may be, but it's different under stress. So that's where that physical fitness aspect comes into play. I may have you do a couple of laps and run a
Mm-hmm.
couple of burpees or whatever, and then put you through a shooting scenario to see you can really do it under stress. So
Ooh.
that's where that physical
See,
fitness part started coming into play.
see,
Yeah, yeah.
dude,
I've been working it, man. I've been working
dude.
it.
But the thing is, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times things are not a no. Sometimes it's not right now,
Hmm.
right? And sometimes it's not even not right now. It's just about reimagining how I reposition or represent that
Hmm.
thing,
Yes,
right? Because
yes.
a lot of times people think it's all about the information or the knowledge. No, it's really about the presentation, right?
Hmm.
The information and knowledge and data. If somebody wants to know how to shoot a gun, they can Google
They
YouTube.
can
They can
Google
sit there
that
and they can go
all
Google it.
day.
But
Absolutely.
it can't be packaged and presented in a way that you're going to package and present it, and they can't
Hmm.
get it through the context of your experiences, like you just
Hmm.
mentioned. So it's not the
Absolutely.
information, it's how it's packaged or presented. And that's
Absolutely.
what this thing is all about. So don't get so caught up in, man, I can't do this. I can't. No, check this out. I can still do it. I just got to find a way to repackage this bad boy so that I
Yep.
can do it in the proper way now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know that's a total fact because I'm guilty of that. Like, how can I put this to this? I like, you know what? Let me sit back and just it'll come together.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that he told me as well, make people scale to you.
Mm-hmm.
Make them come to your level. Don't change anything up for anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to learn exactly what you do,
Mm-hmm.
give them what you do,
That's right.
and only the strong can survive doing it.
That's right.
I like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because I was
Mm-hmm.
struggling with, how can I break down my knowledge to where an average person understands it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard that doesn't understand military terminology. I say military terms, they're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my struggle as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? He said, no, make folks conform to you. If you
Mm-hmm.
do military type training, give them military type training,
Mm-hmm.
and if people can either adapt to it or they can't.
Or they can find somebody else.
Yeah.
That's
So
but check this out though. You got high level and you got entry level.
yeah,
Maybe you're not the entry level guy. Maybe
absolutely.
you're the high level. Like, look, check this out. When you're ready for that doggone full on, I'm about to put you through it, run a mile, then start going through some obstacle course and
Yeah.
stuff going off all around. When you're ready for that, you come see me with Silverback. You dig?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I might not be where you're at yet.
Yeah, and not only that, it just I teach the mental aspect as well. People think that's because you secure, you can just do whatever you want to do. Like, no, you have to have a engage with people, build relationships with people. Like, prime example, we go to different clubs or whatever. I'm Chris's personal security, but I meet and greet all the guys that's already there,
Mm-hmm.
and that helps me out because if something does happen, I have four other bodies that can help me out as well. Versus me coming in with an attitude like, well, I'm a bodyguard, so I don't need to talk to anybody else. Like, no, I talk to everybody.
That's it.
Yeah,
Again,
absolutely,
that
absolutely.
goes back to what you mentioned before, right? The customer service,
Customer service.
but then respect.
Absolutely,
Because check
absolutely.
this out. Because see, check this out. So people don't understand. Like I got a homeboy, and he's actually been on the show as well. And years ago, he was like, he used to do all stuff with 2 Chainz, and he used to drive and be a part of all these different, entourages and stuff. And one of the things we talked about, and this was like an offline conversation, he was just like, what's interesting, when you go to different cities, kind of in the rap game, it's kind of unspoken, but you got to check in. Like
Yeah.
people like, and so it's funny, and we were laughing about it. He was saying, like when you see like rappers go to this city and something happens, he was just like, that was just obvious that they didn't check in when they got to the city.
Yeah.
If you in the game, like the rap game or whatever, when you go to this city, there's 2 or 3 calls you're supposed to make to let you know that, hey, I'm in the city, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's that respect thing that you're
That's that
talking about, but you
respect,
understand the
absolutely.
lay of the land with self-awareness.
Because like I said, people look at you and they say, well, he's something because of the command presence. Like, I have this thing about me where people always think I'm security, no matter where I go. I go to a regular restaurant. Like, hey man, can I use the bathroom? I'm like, yeah, you can go to the bathroom. I don't work here. You know what I mean? But I just put off that vibe. So I have to engage with people. If I don't engage with them, they won't talk to me. So I have to like literally speak to people and, hey man, how you doing? I'm Chris's personal security. I'm here for a little while or whatever. Anything happens, I'm gonna come to you. Oh, thank you. And for I got the guy's cell phone number. We're connected, and so just building those relationships with different people all over. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So talk to us now about like, okay, you got Silverback Security, you know, you got the YouTube channel. You said you're going to start doing some different trainings and things of that sort going forward. You got to lay out like how can folks, you know, get in touch with you? How can they check out what you got going on? Some social media. What do you
Absolutely.
have?
Well,
You got any contact information for the brothers?
I have my Instagram page.
Okay.
It's civilb_protection
Okay.
on Instagram. I have my page on Facebook as well.
Mhm.
Silverback Protection EP Services.
Okay.
And like I said, you know, these doors are open so quickly.
Mhm.
Now it's time for me to kind of put it out there now. So now I'm a lot of content.
Mhm.
I'll be doing a lot of just little snippets about what I do on a daily basis, as far as like shadowing your client, getting to know your client, his likes, his dislikes, all that little stuff comes into play. Like he likes Black and Milds, he likes fruit snacks and shit like that. So
Mhm.
I keep them on me all the
Uh-huh.
time. So when he looking for it, here you go,
Uh-huh.
bro, I got you. He ain't got to
Mhm.
look for it. So
Mhm.
just those small little things really helps you be a good EP agent. So
You say EPH, what'd you say?
executive protection. So the fancy name is executive protection.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
and then you got body. People say executive security, executive protection, bodyguard. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's the fancy
Executive
name for
protection.
it.
So we're gonna use that term now. It's executive protection.
Executive
This ain't
protection. Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yeah.
I dig it. I dig
Yes,
it. I
sir.
dig it.
Yes, sir.
And so make sure fellas and ladies listening to silverb_protection on IG, and then it's Silverback EPH.
Yeah, Silverback Protection EP Services.
Okay,
So
Silverback
no,
protection.
so now I'm gonna spell out. I'm glad you said that. Now I'm gonna actually spell out executive protection on my page so people see that name.
Okay.
So that's a prime example. Like you never know who you talk to that can you never too old to learn.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I love it.
I'm glad you explained it, because again, when people think executive protection, you know, some people might just be thinking about like cybersecurity and all of that.
Right,
But no,
right.
there's an actual physical executive protection
Mhm.
industry, and that's exactly what you're in by doing protection of like high value, you know, figures and
Individuals.
whatnot.
And that's the thing. People always kind of compartmentalize security into one thing. Like they see bodyguard, you security. Like, no, I'm not security, I'm a bodyguard. I'm personal protection. So it's a difference. So it's all kind of always been put into one spectrum. So executive protection, that's more one individual, one person, you know, that's the only guy I'm looking out for. So those soft skills get you a long way in that world.
That's
Yeah.
good stuff, man. Now, I guess as we kind of wrap up our conversation, man, is there anything that you'd like to leave with, you know, the fellas, the ladies listening to, you know, the dads that are out there in regards to just anything, man? You got the last words, brother.
I would tell you to always pursue your dreams. If you work hard for it, it's gonna come. It's gonna be hard times. It's gonna be times where you want to give up. You want to just do regular things or whatever. But if it's in you to do it, by all means do it, and show your kids the same thing. I tell my kids all the time, you know, I don't like to tell my son not to do certain things. I want to see what that niches he has. They all have niches, and I want to bring that niche out of them. You know, always inspire and motivate people. Respect goes a long way, and pursue your dreams, man, because dreams do come true. If you speak it, you work for it, it's going to happen. And when it does happen, don't stop. Now you got to go even harder and keep going and evolving.
Man, and you are a true testament to that.
Yes,
you
sir.
are a true testament to that, brother.
Yes,
and
sir,
so I just want to
it.
tell you to keep up the good work, man. I'm proud of you, man. Like
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, when I get to a point in which I need executive protection, I know who I'm calling. You know what I'm saying? Me and Chris gonna have to fight it out. I'm be like, look at y'all. I got him now.
so you know what's crazy? This last job we had, because I watch his family as well sometimes. And they trying to recruit me. Well, can we just take Jermaine with us? He's like, no, you can't take my guy with you. So yeah, but like I said, that customer service, like, you know, doing the small things, like taking them shopping, you know, carrying the bags and stuff for them and stuff like that. So it goes a long way.
Man, customer service, self-awareness,
and respect.
And respect, fellas. If y'all don't take nothing else from his journey, respect, customer service, self-awareness, but then also to follow your dreams, because they do come true.
Absolutely.
Awesome,
Believe in yourself. Yes, sir.
Well, hey, man, I want to thank you, brother. Make sure to follow Jermaine Salisbury. He's the creator of Silverback Protection on Instagram. It's Silverb_protection. On Facebook, it's Silverback Executive Protection. He's going to change the name of it. But either way, it'll be in the show notes. But then also check out his YouTube page where he's going from vet to bodyguard. And he's really kind of documenting his journey. But the brother's doing the doggone thing. We got to encourage him, but then also tap into the wisdom that he's dropping because it's going to help you to do your thing a little bit better. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you.
No doubt, no doubt. Fellas, as always, make sure to follow Black Fathers Now on all social media platforms. Share this thing out. Leave some ratings. Make sure to reach out to Jermaine and let him know that, dude, I'm digging your journey, brother. I learned a lot. And as always, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too, brother.